What's up guys, Zaid here, and today for you I've got my Infernity Pendulum deck profile. I did a duel video using this deck a couple days ago playing against Hero, and I really enjoy this deck, so I figured I'd showcase it. Also, y'all seem to like my Infernity Phantom Knight deck, so why not show you another deck. Also, shout out to my buddy Comer who asked me for this list. When he asked me for the list, it kind of made me feel like if he wants it, someone else might want it too, so let's put a video out on it. So, to start with the Infernities, I play one Archfiend because it's at 1, 3 Mirage, and 2 Necromancer. The Mirage you could technically get away with 2, but I like having the third because this deck's combo is kind of intricate and sometimes you fuck up. So having the third kind of like covers your back because you could end up with like one monster short of being able to make your whole end board if you don't have it, but having it, you typically won't run out of gas. And then Necromancer was a card I used to play at 3, but you only need the 2 to constantly loop off of the Mirage and the Launcher, so I felt like 2 is the right number. And then 1 Conjurer and 1 Wildcat. Wildcat, if you open him, he's like an extender because he discards an Infernity to special summon itself. But he also, you can banish an Infernity, increase his monster's level by that level. So if you just like summon him off of a Necromancer, you can banish Mirage to make him level 4, and then you can use him to synchro summon an 100 Eyes Dragon. And then the Conjurer is just, if you have no cards in your hand, you could special summon it. So this card is just kind of an extender. And then 1 Patriarch. Patriarch is used in the basic combo to make Dugaris to bring back the Archfiend. And then 1 Eris, 1 Archfiend Eris. This card, when it's sent to graveyard, searches Archfiend, so it's like really integral to the strategy. And then 1 Fiendish Rhino Warrior to send it, because you still play Cherubini, and Cherubini, it sends as cost, so it doesn't trigger the Eris. So you send Fiendish Rhino Warrior and then send Eris, and it'll trigger Eris. And if you already have access to Archfiend, Rhino Warrior lets you send Street Patrol, so Cherubini can get you to either point in the combo you're missing. And then triple Street Patrol, this card's like crazy. Triple Tour Guide. You could technically play 2 Street Patrol, but in this variant, since you can Pendulum Summon, I like drawing this card, having more opportunity to draw this card. Because if you gain access to this, then you only need access to Archfiend, and then you have combo. And then 3 Tour Guide. Tour Guide is like really susceptible to hand traps, but if they hand trap the Tour Guide in this build, you can still hopefully try to get to a Pendulum Summon, and then they wasted a hand trap that could have been used to stop you at some choke point in the combo. 1 Tsuchinoko, just for extending. And then for the Pendulum package, 1 Lizard Draw because it's searchable off King of the Feral Imps. 1 Supreme King Gate 0 because it's searchable and scalable off Darkworm. And then 3 Darkworm. So Darkworm in this deck is a little different than it is in other decks, because most of the time in the meta, you see Darkworm being used for its, if this card's in the graveyard and you control no monsters, special summon it and search effect. But in this deck, you can use its scale effect. Once per turn, if you control no monsters, place a Supreme King Gate Pendulum from your deck into your Pendulum Zone. Also, you can't Pendulum for the rest of the turn except Darks, but the whole deck is Dark. There's a Rhino Warrior is the only non-Dark in the deck. So if you open the Darkworm, you just scale it, scale 0, and play the game. And then the reason for the Lizard Draw and the King of the Feral Imps, though, is because we play cards like Dragon Shrine and Foolish that, if need be, can send Darkworm. Darkworm can special, and then you could search the 0, normal summon a 4, overlay for the Feral Imps, and grab the 6. So it's just another way to complete scales. And also, on top of Foolish and Dragon Shrine, you play 3 of this card, Void Apocalypse, which is why I've been messing with Infernity. This card is insane. You discard a card to Foolish Burial a Fiend. And then if you open Darkworm, it's kind of like in the old Pendulum decks, if you open Pen Call. You discard Void Apocalypse, you activate Void, discard Darkworm, Foolish a Fiend, and then you get Darkworm's effect to come out, normal summon a 4, make Feral Imps, and then now you have Scales. And you got a free discard off your Apocalypse. And the cool thing with that too, like, you discard this, then you can send Eris from your deck to the grave. Get Eris to grab the Archfiend. So now when you complete Scales, you also have Archfiend in hand. And so that once Archfiend resolves for the first time, your combo's going through and you're gaining infinite advantage. And then 1 Launcher to search off the Archfiend. 1 Paranoia. I don't think everyone plays this card. This card's really cool. You tribute a Dark, special, and Infernity with the same level but negate its effects. And then also during the main phase, accept the turn this card sent to the grave, banish it, and then target an Infernity in your graveyard and add it to hand. In the event that you end up in a grind game, the second part is pretty cool, but typically you make a big board and they scoop, or you get like hand trapped to death and you scoop. But this card is its main use. You can set it off the Archfiend, and then if you like go Necromancer, summon Archfiend, you can then tribute off the Necromancer to summon out either Conjurer or Wildcat to have extra access to more names. These cards you can't technically search optimally off of Archfiend, because then they put a monster in your hand, and if you don't have a way to get that monster out of your hand, you're not playing the game. So by grabbing the Paranoia and tributing off a Necromancer, you then have easy access to these cards without them being in your hand. And then we play one card Destruction. This card is just like really good. The thing that sucks is that you could give them hand traps if they don't have them already. But you also discard cards like Dark Worm, cards like Street Patrol, cards like Rhino Warrior, cards like Eris. You also get Grave set up with Conjurer, Wildcat, Necromancer, Archfiend. And it lets you draw into combo, hopefully. So I do like this card a lot. You also can discard Snake and get Snake Summon. And then 3 Drag Down, look at their hand, rip a hand trap. They rip a card out of your hand, but you set your spell and traps, and it just helps you clear monsters out of your hand. 1 Upstart, because life points don't matter. 1 Monster Reborn, and 1 for 1. These cards just help you extend. And then the triple barrier for you to search every turn 1. And then in the extra deck, we got a 100 Eyes Dragon. Like I said before, this card just kind of helps you extend. 1 King of the Feral Imps. This card lets you search out the Pendulum Scale. 2 Leviair for recurring banished Street Patrols during the combo. Also with Wildcat banishing a Mirage or anything else, depending on the situation, you then can use the Leviair to bring back whatever was banished by Wildcat. So Wildcat makes Leviair more live too. And then Dugaris for the combo to bring back Archfiend. Ampalooza is part of your end board. The end board is the same as the last Infernity deck I showcased, except the last one played Phantom Knight, so you also had Fog Blades. But you end on triple barrier, a live Trigate Wizard, and an Ampalooza for like 3. And so that is 3 monster negates, 3 monster negates, 4 Omni negates, and then a Barricade Borg, Cheer Beanie. Cheer Beanie is essential for the start of the combo. But then a Barricade Borg, IP, the 3 Nightmares. These 5 are like technically flex spots. They're just monsters to link up into that give arrows that point to make Trigate live. And so the Nightmares are probably optimal. I wouldn't really call these flex spots because they're the best ones to make with the Trigate since they give it protection. So going first, they're really good. And then going second, they're good at breaking boards. So these cards are just really solid all around. And then IP, I often use this to link climb. But it also comes up where if you do get hand trapped into Oblivion, you have that and a Unicorn as a way to have an interruption. And then 2 Sarusha. This card, you don't even often use the draw effect. Because if you were to hypothetically draw 4, put back 3, and have all monsters, you could clog yourself harder than you were before. But you almost always, and by almost I mean you actually always, use the 3 effect to special a monster from your hand to trigger Archfiends, summon Mirages to get back Archfiend, and just continue to go. And the sign deck doesn't really matter too much. This is like, you change this based on what matchups you plan to expect. The one card I really like, though, because it helps clear your hand and play through boards, is the Forbidden Droplets. Forbidden Droplets, and then I also play 3 Dark Ruler. The reason being that if this deck can go off, it's going to be able to out any board you have. But if your board's all in the gates, I'm not going to be able to do it. So like if I can just turn all your cards off and play the game, I should be good. And then Imperm is the only hand trap that I could really see this deck playing, because you can't play when you have monsters in hand. And this card, if you don't have to Imperm on their turn, you can just set it. And also if you draw for your 6th card, it acts as one of these cards helping you break a board. And the last 6 are just 3 Cosmic, 3 Twin. This deck is one where you could probably make a case for playing some of the other ones like Lightning Storm and Feather Duster, but I want to have stuff that's chainable to Order and Anti-Spell, just because those cards like are very impactful in the format, and also it's really good against Prank Kids to hit the fusion. And so thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more on this deck, I'm going to be doing combo videos eventually. So make sure you like and subscribe for that. Thank you for checking this shit out. Take it easy.